So you just published a commission report with Videology about online video viewing, and I was hoping we could talk about that and sort of go through some of the highlights. So it seems like the marketplace is pretty bullish, right? Let's start with what advertisers think about online video, because they seem to be the most aggressive in regards to the fact that it's going to proliferate cross-device and grow the most.
Yeah, I think that advertisers are really set up or thinking that this is a great opportunity for them, right? Better targeting, more accountability, the ability to track across device. I think these are things that are really positive things for advertisers that they're looking forward to.
Okay. And what were your findings in regards to sort of, one of the things that the takeaway was the GRP is still the mechanic, right? I mean,
still part of the equation, yeah.
And I mean, so what I heard and what I read between the lines of the report is that a lot of video buyers still want to utilize that GRP mechanic when they're doing their planning.
Yeah, I think that the GRP currency is something that everyone's very comfortable with. It helps in planning, measurement, obviously, and media companies as well. The GRP is something that allows them to sell more holistically across device. It gives them opportunity for higher revenues. So it's still something that is really important to all the various stakeholders.
So the report spoke a little bit about cross-channel ubiquitous video planning. What does that look like in the next couple of years?
More options. There's going to be more options to reach people. I think that there definitely is a challenge when it comes to understanding user behavior across PC, mobile, smart TVs. But I think technology is taking good steps towards trying to solve that for advertisers.
And what are some of the biggest? I mean, we talk about the sort of positive side of technology, right? But it seems like it was data and addressability and targeting that's driving the positive optimism around online video.
I mean, there are also the challenges at the same time, right?
Talk me through that.
Yeah, so cross-device is something that's very difficult. It's something that's not perfect. A lot of it's based on kind of probabilistic matching, right?
Right.
Because those devices and those platforms aren't necessarily talking together, I think advertisers are finding it very challenging to kind of actually track a user across multiple devices with accuracy, right? On top of that, the whole measurement aspect of it, right? What do we use? We use traditional metrics like we talked about, the GRP, or do we start to focus more on some of the digital metrics that we have access to? And I think media companies are a little bit more excited about the opportunity to tie in some of those digital metrics. Advertisers definitely see that a lot of the targeting capabilities that you get with digital is something that can make their advertising campaigns better, but still definitely a challenge.
When I was looking at the report, the platforms that seem to have sort of the highest percentage of perceived likelihood by those surveyed between agencies, advertisers, publishers, et cetera. I mean, connected TVs and over-the-top devices pop to the top, right?
Yep.
Is that mostly going to be app-driven?
We didn't dive into necessarily whether or not what would be driving that, but I think there's a good chance that is something that's going to drive that growth for those devices.
So tell me, I mean, other than sort of the GRP, I know that was a surprise we talked about before we got on stage, but what other sort of key takeaways did you sort of walk away with that either surprised you or just you feel are notable for someone in the industry to have in their back pocket?
I think that was interesting that advertisers were more open to kind of paying for higher quality advertising. One of the data points that we saw was with regard to increasing CPMs, and actually publishers were the most hesitant in thinking that they were going to do that. But really, I think, if you think about the states, right, in the private marketplace, it's a good opportunity for publishers to kind of maintain that control and be able to kind of level off where they're willing to sell their inventory at. But in this market, it seemed like they weren't as open to the idea of creating that partnership and doing something that's like a good mix of programmatic as well as traditional relationship sort of media buying.